Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, panic grips VIPs as IG begins withdrawal of officers from them. PDP crisis, Wiki suffers setback as INEC rejects its factional chairman. And then the third topic will be on the notorious bandits of northern Nigeria. We'll be looking at how they make billions of naira. In the course of the program, we take your questions. But first, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and ones based on the subject matter. I have Jeremy Vaz, the master himself, Babajide Kolade Toju. Good to see you, BKO.
Good to see you, Ibrahim. Good to do this with you.
Let's start off with the directive by the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is now being implemented by Kayode Egbetokun, recalling 11,566 officers previously assigned to VIP protection, pulling them off security duty for politicians and prominent figures, and then redeploying them to frontline policing across the country. What has been your impression about this, Mikhail?
Well, I'm happy that the president gave that directive. The president said the politicians and other VIPs and VVIPs should now be guided by men of the civil defense. Whether the civil defense guys are ready for this challenge, whether they are ready to step into the shoes or the police, whether they have the numbers to provide security for the big men and women in our country, is a question whose answer is blowing in the wind. I am not convinced that they are ready. I'm not convinced that they have enough numbers to be able to focus on their core mandates, which is provide security for pipelines and all that, while also relieving the police of the duty of guiding VIPs and VVIPs. This came as a surprise. It came as a shock. You know, the president's directive. So I don't know how ready the civil defense guys are. But this is something that had been bothering Nigerians for so long. We have more than 150,000 people, policemen guiding VIPs and VVIPs, whereas our communities, especially the rural and semi-urban centers, remain largely under-policed. So, especially the front lines. Now, what the IG has said is that this is not meant to punish anyone, that is just a strategic alignment to strengthen frontline policing and protection of vulnerable communities. Most of the banditry takes place in the rural areas. They hardly carry out banditry in urban centers because they know they don't stand a chance of escaping. But they target those communities that have little or no policing, to commit crime. So far, 11,566 of such personnel have been withdrawn, and they will now be posted to critical areas where policing duties are needed desperately. That's talking about boosting rural and township security on a large scale. The Nigerian population in the rural areas will get more protection, and more policemen will be available to be deployed to intensify patrols, both motorized patrol as well as even static checkpoints on the highways. The police IG believes that visibility is very important in policing. Where people can see that there is a presence of policemen, they will think twice about committing crime because they know that they are most likely going to be apprehended. So the police believe that with the personnel guiding politicians, their wives, and other people being released as a result of the presidential directive, they will have more men to do the job of policing Nigerians rather than simply protecting individuals, typically the high-profile clients, executives, and even celebrities. I was talking about one Nigerian Afrobeat star that I saw in one hotel in Lagos. The sheer number of policemen guiding him, I just couldn't believe it, that one person will have up to that number of policemen guiding him. So how are we going to find enough policemen to protect people resident in our rural communities? It's going to be difficult. But I believe that with the president's promise to intensify recruitment of policemen, if they can do that on a sustainable scale, then gradually we will rapidly improve the number of policemen that we have as a country. All over the world, VIPs, especially famous musicians and all that, need protection. But what happens is that in many countries of the world, private security officers, that is what they are called, they are usually hired. These are trained professionals who are trained to protect individuals, typically popular, high-profile executives, musicians, Nollywood stars, and all that. So they are trained. In many cases, they carry arms. They have training in weapons handling. It is not police. I see a lot of the American musicians, very famous, internationally acclaimed American musicians. It's their private bodyguards that they use. But in our own case, it's policemen that will be following them up and down. It's Mopol that will be following them up and down. It is not the business of the Mopol to be guiding individuals, musicians, and all that. We are saying that if we are intentional about it, private security guards will get good training in weapons handling, in martial arts. That is where they are not required to shoot or use or carry arms. They will get good training in terms of martial arts so that they can protect their principal when necessary. In India, the government withdrew the National Security Guard, also known as Black Cat Commandos, from VIP protection. It's the same situation that we find ourselves in our country. In India, they then felt that, look, the job of these Black Cat Commandos is to prevent terrorism from happening. They are counter-terrorism officers. But a lot of them were guiding high-profile people, VIPs and VVIPs. But government had to withdraw them so that they can focus on their primary mandate of fighting terrorism. So now these VVIPs in India, they have adjusted. Yeah. I believe that if we begin to use these private security guards. Even that subsector of our security sector will improve tremendously, and people will be able to hire them instead of using policemen for such roles. Even during the Gulf War, military contractors who are not really what's it called? Who are not really soldiers. These are private individuals, but they call them um, military contractors. In Nigeria, we call them mercenaries. They are not called mercenaries in other parts of the world. These are military contractors, and they provide even protection for troops in some cases, and big personalities in the green area of Iraq. These private military contractors were very active, and they were used in Nigeria just before the 2015 election. Jonathan brought them to come and confront Boko Haram here in Nigeria. They had the right weapons, that helps in intelligence gathering and all that. So I believe that we too, if you see some of those private guards in America, they look smart, they carry guns, and they provide protection. But here, a Burna boy will take policeman to a nightclub. It is police that we are using. So how are we going to have enough policemen to man our villages, to man our cities, when almost half of the entire police population is guiding civilians? So I just hope that the president can put his foot down and ensure that this is implemented. As you can see, they are already in panic mode. Look at what the former governor of Sokoto State, Wamako, said. He said that they will be targeted by criminals and other. I agree that if they don't have protection, they will fall prey to criminals and other evil people. But that shouldn't stop us from doing what is right. We have to start from somewhere. Let's free some of these policemen so that they can live up to the mandate that they were given, which is to provide, security for our communities and for our people, not to be guiding VIPs and VVIPs all over the place. One VIP can even have up to 10 policemen. What is the meaning of that? The oil executives in the Niger Delta, the expatriate oil workers, in some cases, you see up to 30 security people following them. So even our soldiers, we have to reduce the way they are made to guide private individuals. We have to reduce it so that we can have enough soldiers to prosecute the war on terror. We have to do something about it. Hopefully this is the beginning of that conversation, and we will get used to using private security officers.
All right, Uche Daniels says, if ordinary Nigerians have been surviving without police escorts for decades, I honestly don't see why politicians should suddenly develop hypertension because their guards are going back to real policing. Welcome to our world. Fatima Lawal Mohammed, I support redeployment, but implementation matters. Some VIPs genuinely face credible security threats because of the nature of their jobs. The police must prioritize, not just withdraw blindly. Ezekiel Wunkeye says, let's be real. The panic isn't because they love security officers, it's because they've created enemies everywhere. If police were fair and transparent, who would they be afraid of? If policies, rather, were fair and transparent, who would they be afraid of? Gloria Kim Adams says, this is a bold reform, but only meaningful if the officers actually reach rural and crime-prone zones. If they end up chilling in stations, then this whole drama is just political theater. And then we have good evening, the maestro himself and Ibrahim. Okay. We have Michael Ajayi says, if politicians are really doing well in their various constituency, can they be going around with armed forces men? Let the armed forces men should be redeployed to schools and communities. Nelson Adufe says, while appreciating these presidential initiatives, there is vacuum in policing, a vacuum to policing and military manpower and equipment facilities. There should also be more than 500,000 in each of the defense departments. Okay,